You're living like time is unlimited, when the truth is you're already late. Not late in the dramatic sense people like to use online. Late in the quiet sense, the kind that reveals itself slowly when you look back and realize how many years slipped through routines that never moved you forward. Most people don't notice it happen. They wake up, they follow the script, they tell themselves they're doing the responsible thing. Work harder, play it safe, wait for stability. And without realizing it, they build a life around comfort, not around growth. Comfort is subtle. It rarely feels like laziness. It feels like responsibility. You stay in the job that drains you because it pays the bills. You delay the difficult project because the timing isn't perfect yet. You tell yourself, next year will be the year you finally become serious. And the strange part is, none of it feels wrong in the moment. It feels logical. It feels adult. But comfort has a cost most people don't measure. It slowly trains you to negotiate with your own potential. At first, the negotiations are small. I'll start next month. Then the months turn into years. You begin lowering expectations quietly, without saying it out loud. Not because you lack intelligence, not because you lack talent, but because the environment around you rewards stability far more than it rewards courage. From the time you're young, the message is clear. Find something secure. Stay inside the system. Avoid risk. And after hearing that message long enough, something subtle happens inside you. You stop asking what you're capable of and start asking what's safe. That shift alone changes the entire direction of a life. Because once safety becomes the priority, growth becomes optional. You begin managing your life instead of expanding it. You manage your schedule. You manage your responsibilities. But deep down, something feels unfinished. You can feel it in quiet moments, usually when everything is finally still. Late at night, sitting somewhere without distractions, there's a faint awareness that you're capable of more. Not in a grand, cinematic way, just a quiet recognition that you're underusing your life. Most people silence that feeling quickly. They open their phone. They turn on something to watch. They distract themselves just enough to avoid sitting with the thought. But the thought doesn't disappear. It just waits, waiting for the moment you finally decide to stop negotiating with yourself. Because the real barrier between where you are and who you could become is rarely opportunity. It's the quiet agreements you make with comfort. You tell yourself discipline requires motivation, but that's not true. Motivation is unreliable. It arrives when things feel exciting and disappears when things become difficult. Discipline is different. Discipline is the moment you stop waiting to feel ready. It's the quiet decision to move anyway, not because you're inspired, because you've decided the cost of staying the same is finally higher than the cost of change. This moment rarely looks dramatic. It usually happens on an ordinary day. No music, no applause. Just a simple decision that something about your life can't continue the same way. And at first, nothing around you changes. Your responsibilities stay the same. But something internal shifts slightly. You stop asking whether you feel like doing the work. You start asking whether the person you want to become would do it. That question changes everything, because identity shapes behavior far more than motivation ever will. If you see yourself as someone who tries occasionally, you'll act occasionally. If you see yourself as someone who moves when it's convenient, you'll move when it's convenient. But the moment you begin seeing yourself differently, your standards change. You begin noticing how often you break promises to yourself. Small promises. Wake up earlier. Finish the work. Stop wasting time. Promises that seem minor, but quietly define your identity. Most people break those promises constantly. Not out of weakness, out of habit. They've practiced inconsistency for so long that it feels normal. So discipline begins in a strange place. Not with massive goals, with tiny acts of integrity. You start keeping small promises again. If you say you'll wake up earlier, you wake up earlier. If you say you'll work for an hour, you work for the hour. No excuses. At first it feels mechanical, almost unimpressive, but something subtle begins happening beneath the surface. You start trusting yourself again, and self-trust is the foundation most people are missing. Without it, every plan collapses. You can read every book, watch every lecture, write down every goal, but if you don't trust yourself to follow through, none of it matters. Trust is built in repetition, and repetition is built in discipline. There will be mornings where everything in you wants to delay the work. There will be evenings where distraction feels easier than effort. Those moments are not obstacles. They are the test, because the version of you that lives a different life is not built in moments of excitement. It's built in moments when continuing feels inconvenient. There was a morning once where this became very clear. Nothing dramatic was happening. Just a quiet room, early light coming through the window, the kind of silence most people avoid. You sit there for a moment, staring at the work in front of you. Part of you wants to postpone it. You start inventing small justifications. You need to think first. Today isn't the right mood. And then there's another voice, much quieter. It simply asks one question. How many times are you going to repeat the same day? That question lands different, because suddenly the decision isn't about this morning. It's about the pattern. You realize that most people don't ruin their potential with one bad decision. They ruin it by repeating the same comfortable day for 10 years. And in that moment, something small changes. You stop arguing with yourself. You begin not with energy, not with passion, just with movement. Work begins slowly, but once you start, something interesting happens. Momentum appears. The resistance that felt overwhelming an hour earlier disappears the moment you're already in motion. That's the quiet secret most people never discover. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. And over time, those small moments accumulate. Day after day, nothing spectacular, just quiet consistency. The world rarely notices this phase. There's no recognition, no visible transformation yet. But internally, something powerful is forming. Your identity is changing. You begin seeing yourself as someone who does the work regardless of mood. Someone who moves without waiting for ideal conditions. That identity slowly becomes automatic. And once it becomes automatic, life changes in ways that are difficult to explain to someone still negotiating with comfort. Because discipline removes friction from decision-making. You don't spend hours debating whether you'll work. You simply work. You don't ask whether you feel like improving. Improvement becomes routine. And gradually, the distance between who you were and who you're becoming grows wider. Because of consistency, most people underestimate how powerful this becomes over time. They're looking for dramatic breakthroughs. But real transformation rarely arrives as a breakthrough. It arrives as a quiet accumulation. 5 years of consistent effort looks like talent to the outside world. 10 years looks like genius. But internally, it's simply the result of thousands of ordinary days where you refuse to return to comfort. The strange part is that the work never truly becomes easy. You still experience resistance, but those forces lose their authority over you because you've practiced choosing different. And eventually, you look back at the person you used to be. The one who believed discipline required inspiration. That version of you feels distant, not because life suddenly became perfect, but because you stopped living by the old agreement. The agreement that said comfort deserved priority. Now something else holds priority. Progress, not perfection. Just steady movement. One honest day after another. No performance, no dramatic declarations. Just the quiet discipline of someone who has decided their life will not be negotiated away. And once that decision becomes real, something important happens. Time stops slipping through your hands. It starts working with you instead. Because the person you are becoming understands something most people never fully accept. Every day is shaping an identity, whether you notice it or not. And eventually, one identity replaces the other. The question is simply which one you're building. The person who waits or the person who moves. Because in the end, the difference between the two is not intelligence. It's a standard. And once that standard becomes internal, it stops asking for permission. You become the kind of person who moves forward, even when no one is watching.